Formula One news, and today we are getting ready for Imola. Albon stays with Williams. What can we expect from the 2026 season? Imola is covered with gravel. Testing of splitters and McLaren after Lando Norris's victory. Contract of the week, Alex Albon signs a new deal with Williams. Albon has signed a new multi-year contract with Williams. The length of the deal was not disclosed per tradition, but if we are to believe the rumours, we are looking at a deal that goes at least until the end of the 2026 season. While Albon's post was similar to Aston Martin's announcement of Fernando sticking around, they decided to get creative with the announcement video. James Vowles pointed out how we usually get to see the moment where both parties sign the paper, but many wonder what happens before that moment. For example, Albon spent the day signing the contract smooching some stingrays, well, feeding them in the ocean. But thanks to the time zone difference, he was able to make it to the office just in time to put pen to paper and take another Formula One seat off the market for 2025. A couple of weeks ago, we gave you a rundown of the confirmed races on the 2025 Formula One schedule, and now the rumour mill is starting to churn about what the 2026 calendar could look like. The story is a bit convoluted and mostly based on rumours, so let's sort through it. It all started when rumours emerged that a deal had been signed to bring Formula One to Chicago, with the race supposedly joining the calendar in 2026. The race was expected to be a night race on a street circuit and would have taken place ahead of the Canadian Grand Prix. However, insiders quickly shot down those reports, saying that no such deal was in place and that there was little appetite for a fourth race in the United States at this time. As it stands, Formula One Group CEO Stefano Domenicali has said on numerous occasions that the current 24-race calendar is the maximum the series wants to have, so it's unlikely that we'll see any more races added. That means that of the 18 slots that have been filled with confirmed races for 2026, if Chicago is indeed added, that leaves just 5 remaining. Of the 7 tracks that have yet to announce contract extensions, 2 of them, Shanghai and Imola, missed races in recent years due to force majeure. Imola was flooded out in 2023, while Shanghai hasn't hosted a race since 2019 due to COVID. It's likely that those 2 tracks will be compensated with contract extensions and remain on the 2026 calendar. If our math is correct, that leaves just 3 spots up for grabs between Mexico, Monza, Zandvoort, Belgium, and Monaco. Let us know in the comments which tracks you think will get the axe. Speaking to Italian newspaper La Gazzetta dello Sport, Stefano Domenicali gave a lengthy interview, and we've picked out the main talking points. Firstly, the new regulations for 2026 will be published as early as June 1st, as an agreement was reached on all the main points at the last Formula One Commission meeting. Secondly, he mentioned that the aerodynamic package will receive some new features, with plans to reduce the weight of the roll hoop by developing a new concept, as the high weight of the cars remains a bugbear. Domenicali also admitted that a move away from hybrid power units is possible by 2030 if a truly sustainable fuel can be developed that results in 0 emissions. He also noted that one of the most difficult points to agree on in the new Concord agreement was the issue of Red Bull owning 2 teams, although he seems inclined to allow them to keep things as they are due to their major contribution to Formula One. Ferrari are continuing to raid Mercedes, having already lured James Allison away, and this week it was announced that 2 more ex-Mercedes employees, Loic Serra and Jerome D'Ambrosio, will join the team from October 1st of this year. Serra will become head of chassis performance engineering, while D'Ambrosio will take up the newly created role of deputy team principal, becoming second in command to Frédéric Vasseur and also taking charge of the Ferrari Driver Academy. And today, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix gets underway at Imola, with the track having undergone some changes. The first and most noticeable change is the addition of gravel traps at 6 corners, turns 9, 10, 12, 14, 15 and 19. Double curbs have also been installed at some corners, which are safer for the cars but still provide a challenge for the drivers. The famous Variante Alta chicane has been reconstructed, and a new paddock club has been created on the terrace above the pit garages. With Formula One finally back in Europe, we're back to the traditional daytime schedule for the race weekend. Event of the week: new spray suppressor wings tested. We all know how rain on track can change the course of a race, from lost positions to red flags. This week, the FIA have been testing out a system to reduce spray, ironically ahead of a race that was cancelled last year due to heavy rain. It has to be said, they don't look great, more like something from the wheels of an office chair, but it's not clear yet how they would be deployed during a race. Given that this is far from the first iteration of spray suppressors, and that the ones being tested here don't seem to be doing a great job from the videos we've seen, we wouldn't expect them to be introduced anytime soon for proper wet races. Ferrari's cunning plan. The tests were conducted on the Ferrari cars, who scared everyone with the extent of their upgrades after Miami. So this was a chance for them to try out those new bits in anger ahead of the race weekend. Ferrari have been cunning in general though, as well as testing ahead of Imola. They managed to squeeze in a filming day to use up one of their permitted filming days. Of course, we all know that this is just another opportunity to run your updates on track ahead of your home race. The extent of those updates was noted by Ferrari team principal Frédéric Vasseur, explaining why the car is now being called the SF24 version 2.0. What we have called version 2.0 will try to answer what McLaren did in Miami and Red Bull did in Suzuka. We are still in the development phase. When you have an update, it's not a revolution in terms of performance, it's just a step. Our target is to bring some downforce, which is more or less, let's say, 0.3 of a second a lap. In other Ferrari news, race engineer Charles Leclerc's race engineer, Xavi Marcos, will be leaving his post from May 1st to use his experience to develop other important company projects. One man's loss is another man's gain though, and the new race engineer for Charles Leclerc will be replaced by the team's current performance engineer, Briar Baiocchi. For the past 5 years, Baiocchi has been responsible for the performance of Leclerc's car, so this is a natural step up for him. Unlike Sainz, who was only told of his race engineer change just before the sprint weekend in Miami, Leclerc at least has time to adjust to this change. Andretti continued to push for a Formula One entry, and after the letter from 12 US congressmen demanding an explanation as to why Andretti Cadillac were being blocked from entering Formula One was ignored by FOM, it has now been reported that US House Judiciary Committee member Jim Jordan has launched an investigation into the Andretti Cadillac Formula One entry saga and has requested a number of documents from Liberty Media relating to the decision. Given that the issue relates to potential anti-competitive behaviour, they have also requested details of all communications between Formula One and the existing teams regarding Andretti's entry. Liberty Media and Formula One have until May 21st to respond. Interestingly though, whilst Liberty Media is indeed an American company, the Formula One group, of which FOM is a part, is a British company. Therefore, Liberty Media could argue that they have no legal responsibility for the entry of new teams and that any document requests should be directed to FOM. FOM, in turn, could simply refuse to comply with the requests of a US congressman, as they are not subject to US law. The whole thing is getting messier and more farcical by the day. Let us know in the comments whether you think Andretti will eventually make it onto the Formula One grid. Pierre Gasly has a new helmet design, and what a helmet it is! Gasly has revealed a special one-off helmet design that pays tribute to Ayrton Senna. The Frenchman recently got to drive Senna's 1984 Toleman, the Brazilian's first Formula One car, and to mark the occasion he has produced this special helmet, which will be auctioned off after the race weekend, with all proceeds going to the Instituto Ayrton Senna, which helps to provide education for children in Brazil. Lando did not in fact jump in the lake, as McLaren celebrated Norris's maiden victory back at their HQ. A video has gone viral on social media of Norris arriving at the McLaren Technology Centre in Woking in his McLaren, driving inside to cheers from the team, complete with minions celebrating the win. Filming on the Brad Pitt starring Formula One movie continues, with the budget for the film now said to have topped $300 million. This has been caused by protests in Hollywood, filming on live Grand Prix circuits, and the creation of a miniature 6K camera to film from inside the cockpit. This now makes it one of the most expensive films ever made. The movie still doesn't have an official distributor, with talks ongoing with both Sony and Warner Brothers. The film is expected to be released in the summer of 2025, so that's something to look forward to during the summer break next season. That's all for this week's Roundup. Thanks to everyone who watches, subscribes, likes and comments.